Jesus is a teacher and prophet, loved by crowds and opposed by religious leaders. In this hour, he knows the path ahead is suffering. He walks to the garden to pray because he must choose to obey his Father even when the price is terrible. Peter is a fisherman turned disciple, impulsive and fiercely loyal. He promises never to abandon Jesus. His love is real, but his courage is not yet proven. This night will test him and reveal how fear can fracture resolve. Judas is one of the 12, trusted enough to carry the common purse. He makes a tragic choice to arrange Jesus' arrest for 30 pieces of silver. His betrayal is both an act and a consequence of his own inner turmoil. After the evening meal, Jesus leads the disciples into the quiet of the night. He speaks of suffering and betrayal, explaining that one of them will hand him over. The room tightens with shock because they still expect a different kind of king, not a suffering servant. As the words settle, confusion spreads. Peter vows to stand with Jesus no matter what. But Jesus explains the night will reveal their weakness. He knows their hearts and prepares them for what obedience may demand. When they leave the upper room, Jesus leads them to Gethsemane, a garden across the Kidron Valley. He chooses this place to pray because it is hidden and familiar. The grove feels ancient, the olive trees old enough to hold memory, and the night presses in. Once in the garden, Jesus steps a little away from the others and falls on his face in prayer. He speaks to the Father with raw honesty. He admits the sorrow that floods him and asks, if it is possible, for the cup to pass. He prays for the will of the Father, not his own comfort. In that moment, the agony sharpens. Jesus sweats and prays more intently. He feels the weight of judgment and separation that sin brings. Yet after wrestling, he surrenders in words, "Not my will but yours." This surrender is decisive. It aligns him with the Father's plan and opens the road to redemption. When Jesus returns to the disciples, he finds them sleeping. He had asked them to stay awake and pray. They are exhausted and their eyes close. And each time he wakes them, he warns that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Their failure reveals human fragility in the face of crisis. As the night deepens, Jesus prays a third time. Each prayer moves him from pleading to firm acceptance. He steels himself to face arrest and suffering because he believes in the Father's redemptive purpose. This is where obedience becomes the instrument of salvation. As dawn nears, footsteps and torches break the night. Judas leads a contingent with temple guards to the exact place Jesus prays. He has agreed a signal, a kiss, to identify his teacher. The quiet garden is pierced by betrayal choreographed like a legal arrest, not a battlefield. When Judas steps forward and kisses Jesus, the act feels intimate and brutal. Jesus does not flinch. He calls Judas by name and addresses the moment plainly. The kiss is the outward sign of a transaction. Behind it is a heart that turned away, choosing silver over service. In that charged instant, Peter draws a knife and slashes at a servant, cutting off an ear. His action is desperate and impulsive, trying to defend his teacher. But Jesus rebukes violence. He touches the wounded man and heals him, showing that love and mission cannot be protected by force. Even as violence flares, Jesus accepts arrest. He reminds the captors of his daily teaching in the temple. asking why they come with swords and clubs as if he were a criminal. His surrender is a conscious choice. He steps into custody because it fulfills the Father's plan for redemption. As the soldiers lead Jesus away, the disciples scatter in fear. Peter follows at a distance because his love conflicts with fear. He watches to protect and yet to hide, torn between bold promises and the human instinct to survive. When morning comes and Jesus stands before the council, Peter warms himself in a courtyard. A servant woman recognizes him, and he denies knowing Jesus. Later another sees him, and he denies him again. Fear is driving his mouth, and each denial pushes him further from his promise. In that very moment, the rooster crows. Peter remembers Jesus' warning that before the rooster crows, he would deny him 3 times. The memory hits like a blow. Peter breaks down in tears because he sees how fear overcame him despite his good intentions. As the events close the passage, the meaning becomes clear. Jesus' surrender is not defeat, but obedience that accomplishes salvation. Judas' betrayal fulfills words from prophecy and reveals human choice. Peter's failure shows human weakness and the need for grace. Together they set the stage for the cross and the promise beyond it. When the narrative ends, Matthew wants us to see that Gethsemane teaches surrender under trial. Jesus chooses the Father's will over self-preservation so that forgiveness can be offered to sinners. Judas' bargain and Peter's denial expose human failure and the urgent need for grace. If this story moved you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you do not miss the next one.